Not explaining yourself is the calmest kind of strength. And today, I want to sit with you and show you why. If these calm thoughts do you good, take a moment and subscribe so more gentle souls may find a little peace. Now, picture a moment you already know. Someone has decided who you are, they took your words, turned them over, and made them mean something you never meant. Then they told others their version. And now they wait. They wait for you to come running, breathless, to defend your heart. In that quiet moment, before you say a single word, there is a choice. And that choice changes everything. Perhaps you know this feeling. Perhaps someone comes to mind even now. Feel what happens in the body first. When you are misread, something in the chest tightens. A small knot forms right there behind the breastbone. And the mind starts to move fast. You begin to gather your reasons like smooth stones, one by one, ready to set them down at the other person's feet. See, here is what I actually said, here is what I actually meant. You rehearse the perfect sentence, the one that will finally make them see. You polish it on the walk home, in the shower, at 3 in the morning when sleep will not come. If I just say it clearly enough, they will understand. They will take it back. But notice what really happens each time you explain. You push and they lean the other way. You offer your reasons and they hold their picture tighter. The harder you try to open them, the more firmly they close. You have felt this, I think, and never quite had words for it. The more you defend, the guiltier you somehow seem. The explaining itself becomes the proof they were looking for. Why does this happen? Why does the truth, spoken so carefully, bounce off and change nothing? Here is an old teaching. You cannot fill a cup that is turned upside down. Imagine it on the table in front of you. A simple ceramic cup resting mouth down on the wood. You can pour and pour, the finest tea, the clearest water. It all runs off the bottom and pools on the table. Nothing goes in, not because your tea is poor, because the cup is not open. A closed heart is like that cup. It does not want your truth. It has no room for it and no wish to make room. What it wants is not understanding. What it wants is the fight. Your careful explanation is only fresh fuel for a fire that was never trying to go out. So here is the first quiet thing I want to leave with you. Some arguments cannot be won, only entered. When you step in to defend yourself against a closed heart, you have not begun to win. You have simply agreed to burn. And the moment you see this clearly, something in the chest loosens. The knot eases, just a little. There is a strange relief in it. This fight was never yours to win, which means it was never yours to fight. Stay with that relief for a breath, because it opens a harder question, and the answer will surprise you. If explaining never really reaches these people, then who exactly are you spending all your breath on? Look closely and you will find that two kinds of people stand around you whenever you are misread. And most of us, without ever noticing, pour all our words toward exactly the wrong ones. We save nothing for the ones who already understand. Who these two kinds of people are changes everything. The ones who truly matter never ask you to justify your heart. Your old friend already knows the shape of you. Sit beside them in silence and nothing is missing. No defense is needed because they made up their mind about you long ago, and it was kind. But the other kind demands explanations and rarely accepts them anyway. You can lay out your reasons like polished stones at their feet, and they will step over every one. So look at where your breath goes. You spend it all on the people who will never be satisfied, and you save nothing for the ones who already understand. That is the strange trap of being misread. You run toward the closed door and forget the open one behind you. The demanding one will hold their wrong picture of you no matter what you say. The friend needs no picture at all. And still, night after night, you rehearse arguments for the wrong audience. Now, picture a lake at dawn. The mist rests on the surface. Everything is still. Someone walks up and throws a stone. If the water argues, it churns for an hour, slapping at its own banks, gray and troubled. But if the water stays still, the ripple simply passes. One ring, then wider, then gone, and the surface returns to glass. That is the whole teaching in one small image. Your silence is not weakness. It is the lake choosing to remain clear. When you feel that old tightening in the chest, the one that comes the moment someone gets you wrong. Remember the water. It does not chase the stone. It does not explain itself to the person who threw it. It lets the ripple move through and become calm again. Let me pause here because I would love your answer in the comments below. When someone misjudges you, what is harder for you? The silence or the urge to speak? Tell me. I read these, and there is quiet company in knowing others feel the same pull. And if these words reach you, subscribe softly before we go on. That way, more gentle souls find their way to a little peace. So here is what I want to name plainly. This is the calmest kind of strength. Not the strength to strike back. Not the sharp reply that wins the moment and costs you your evening. It is the strength to stay whole while being misread. To feel the chest tighten and let it and stay standing in your own quiet anyway. Anyone can shout. It takes a deeper steadiness to let a wrong picture hang in the air and not reach up to correct it. But steadiness in the mind is easy. In the moment, the pull is strong. So, let me give you something small and plain to carry. Something you can use tomorrow. Next time you feel the urge to defend yourself, do not answer right away. Pause, take one slow breath, and ask yourself one thing. Does this person want understanding or only a target? That single question sorts almost everything. If they want understanding, speak gently and once. If they only want a target, you owe them nothing but your peace. Let the misunderstanding stand. Let them carry their wrong version of you out the door. It costs you nothing because you already know who you are, and that knowing needs no witness. Try it just once. You will feel how much lighter it is to let the ripple pass than to fight the water for an hour. And here is the gentle thing about this practice. It does not stay a struggle forever. There comes a place in life where all of this stops being effort and simply becomes who you are. It arrives later than you would think, because by now you have explained yourself 1,000 times, and somewhere in there, quietly, you have earned the right to stop. What settles in when you finally do is a rare and steady calm. What settles in when you finally do is a rare and steady calm. Not loud, not triumphant, just quiet, like a room after the last guest has gone home. You stop rehearsing the perfect sentence. You stop waiting by the door for someone to finally understand. And in that stillness, something you have chased your whole life simply arrives, without you chasing it at all. When you no longer need anyone's approval, the fight goes out of you, not the fire, the fight. There is a difference, you still care, you still love, but you no longer bleed a piece of yourself every time someone gets you wrong. Think of an old tree on a hill. The wind comes as it always comes. It moves the grass, it bends the young saplings low, it rushes through everything. And the old tree just stands. It does not argue with the wind. It does not lean toward it, trying to explain itself. It has grown deep enough and lived long enough that the wind is simply weather now. It passes, the tree remains. That is what you become. A tree that has stopped bending toward every wind. This is the calmest kind of strength, and now you can feel why. It was never the strength to strike back. It was the strength to stay whole while being misread. So let me say the hard part plainly. People may still misread you. Even now. Even after all of this. Someone will decide who you are and get it completely wrong. And here is the practice, small and clear. Let them. Let the misunderstanding stand. Let them walk away holding their wrong picture of you, framed and finished, and do not chase after them to correct it. I know how strange that sounds. Your whole life you were taught to set the record straight, to defend your name. But watch what it costs you now. Nothing. It costs you nothing. Because you know who you are and that knowing needs no witness. No one has to sign it. No one has to agree. The knowing is complete, sitting quietly inside you, whether the whole world sees it or not. Before we come to the end, let me speak to you directly, one person to one person. If a name comes to mind right now, someone who has held a wrong picture of you for years, I want you to try something gentle. Let them hold their wrong picture. You already know who you are. You do not need to knock on that door again. You never did. And remember the lake at dawn. Someone throws their stone. The water does not rise up to argue. The ripple moves out, softens, and fades. And the surface returns to glass, clear enough to hold the whole sky. You are that water now. Not because you are weak, because you have finally chosen to stay clear. So, this is the whole of it. You will stand in your own quiet, unhurried, unbroken. You will not run breathless to defend your heart to people who only wanted a target. You will let your peace be your answer, and that quiet, believe me, will speak more clearly than any argument ever could. The ones who matter will hear it. The ones who don't were never really listening. There is a kind of dignity that only comes late after you have laid down the thousand explanations. You sit a little straighter, you walk a little slower. The morning light spreads across the garden, and you are simply there for it, at peace, with nothing left to prove and no one left to convince. This is an old teaching, not a law. Take what serves you and leave the rest. If some part of this did not fit your life, set it down gently and keep only what warmed you. That is how wisdom is meant to be held. Loosely, kindly, like a cup of tea between two friends. And so, I will leave you here in the quiet, where the wind moves the grass but the tree stands still. May you carry a little more peace than you came with.